Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session we are going to learn about operators and flow control in PowerShell. So let's jump into the topic and let's look into what are the topics we are going to cover in this session. So in this session we are going to learn about arithmetic operators, then we will also learn about operator precedence, then we will look into comparison operators. After that we will look into logical operators, and at last we will learn about flow controls. So what are the flow controls which is being supported within PowerShell? We will look into those. So let's start our discussion with arithmetic operators. What are the arithmetic operators is being supported within PowerShell? Before going into the demonstration of arithmetic operators, I wanted to give you some information about arithmetic operators in PowerShell. In PowerShell, arithmetic operators calculate numeric values. We can use one or more arithmetic operators to add, subtract, multiply and divide values. Along with that, we can also calculate the remainder of a division operation. These all operations we will look into the demo of this session. One of the greatest power of PowerShell is that the addition operator and the multiplication operator also operate on strings, arrays and hash table. The addition operator concatenates the input. The multiplication operator returns multiple copies of the input. This is not limited to these operations. We can even mix object types in an arithmetic statement. The method that is used to evaluate the statement is determined by the type of leftmost object in the expression. Don't worry, if you are not understanding any of the statement, whatever the statement which I have said, then let's jump into the demo so that you can better understand points which I made. So we are into PowerShell editor. Now let's do the exercises to understand the arithmetic operators in PowerShell. Exercise 1 is pretty much straightforward, so let's do it. What we will do first add. For addition we can use the plus operator sign, and suppose if we are using 3 plus 7, so this is the way this operator we are adding two numbers. So if you will run it, select this one and run it, so it will return the result. So it returns the result. Same way, if you want to use subtraction, so you can use this hyphen sign as a minus and use 3, and here you can select this one, so it will return. Same way, multiplication, you can use strict sign and the two numbers, you will run it, so it will give us the multiplied value. Now for division we will use the symbol, run it, so it returns the value. Now if we want to do the mod operation, that is to get the remainder, so how do we can do that? So we will use percentage sign for mod operator, so run it, so it return 1. This example is pretty much straightforward. Now moving further, the example which I am going to demonstrate you, where I can show you can use plus operator to concatenate two strings. Let's do the exercise 2. So suppose if we have two variable, for example var1 equal to, we have some string called PowerShell, and we have another variable that is var2, and we have something called training. So these two strings I want to concatenate. So how do I can do that? So in PowerShell it is pretty much straightforward. What we need to do, we need to use the same operator which I have mentioned for concatenation, that is plus operator. So do that, var1 plus var2. Now run it, select all this one and run the selection. So check what the value we got. So write output, we can use this command let var3. Here we will run it again. So here we are getting PowerShell training. So this is the concatenated string we are getting. So this operator plus operator, we can use it for concatenation of two string as well in PowerShell. Let's proceed further and do the exercise 3. Now in this example we will also do the concatenation of two hash table into a single hash table. So let's look into that, how we can do the hash table concatenation. Suppose if we have a variable called hash1 and we have a hash table which we will assign over here, so we can use the key value pair like this, and then we have another hash table which contains another information, and here we will specify the key value pair. Now I want to concatenate these two and create the single hash table So how we can do that? #3 I can create, and within that I can use the same operator #1, this plus sign $#2, and write the output. So here we can print the output as well. So run it, see that what the value we are getting. See here. So #3 has two key value pair, one from #1 and one from #2. What it did, it has concatenated the two hash table into a single hash table. So the intent of this exercise is that just wanted to demonstrate that we can use this plus operator for numeric addition from string concatenation as well as hash table, and we can also do it for array concatenation. So let's look into array concatenation as well. So I will do certain changes, just I will copy paste the same thing. So we can tell that array concatenation, and here we can use it. The only changes we can do to create an array, we will use parenthesis, and instead of that we will remove this one, we will remove and we will keep 1. Same with, we can use this one, and here we can use 2 and mention 2, and we can change the name AR1, AR2 and AR3. So here we can, it is throwing me an error. So here we will remove this parenthesis, and now we will run it. So change this one, we need to change with this one, array2. So here now print the array3. So we will print this one. Now run it, select this one, it throws some error. So let's investigate why this error we are getting. So it look like it is not taking this value, whatever the value which we are assigning over here. So let's confirm this. How we can confirm that? ls variable which I mentioned earlier, and use asterisk and run it. Then we can find that the value is different. We are passing array and here it has dictionary. So we will create another variable which is not being used. So just give a name, array var1, array var2, and then array var3, array var, and here var. Now select this one, try to execute it again. So it concatenated two arrays. So we use the same operator for numeric addition, concatenation of a string, hash table concatenation, and array concatenation. So this is really powerful. So now moving further, now in this exercise what we will do, we will try to understand that how we can use multiply arithmetic operator to repeat the string. So what it means, let's understand with an example. Suppose a scenario, if we want to format an output, we can tell the format an output where we want to print something like this, and we want to output something like this, and between that we want to put some message where I wanted to tell that PowerShell training. So if you will run it, so it will give us a formatted output. Select it, so it has given us the formatted output. But here the problem is we are printing these number of long symbol that I don't want. So how I can achieve this? So in PowerShell we can use something like multiplication sign, which we can use for repetition of the character. For example, if I want to print this character 50 times, then I can use it multiplied by 50, and we can write this one as well, and again we want this one. Now run it, it is not printing as expected, so put a parenthesis over here and then try. So now let's run it, see here. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate, that so it has repeated these symbol with 50 times. So this operator comes very handy whenever we are having the requirement to format the display of output. Now moving further, let's look into the topic. What topic we have now? Now we have operator precedence. It is pretty much a straightforward topic. So just wanted to let you know that how PowerShell process the arithmetic operators. So here the basic precedence is like this. First it will resolve parenthesis, then unary operator, that is negative number, and at the third level of precedence it has asterisk, then division, then modulus. That means multiplication and division will be taken care at the third level of precedences. Now at last fourth level it will resolve addition and subtraction. I make it little large so you can see it now. So this is the order of execution of program. Whenever if we have any complex form of expression, on that time this 1 2 3 4 precedence level of operation execution takes place. Now moving further, now let's look into the comparison operators. In PowerShell we have following types of comparison operators. For equality we will use -eq. For not equality we will use -ne. For greater than equal to we will use -g. The same with greater than we will use -gt. Then for less than we will use -lt, and for less than equal we will use -le. If we want to compare or match we will use like operator for matching, and then we have not like as well. We will learn about all these things with an example so that you will be more comfortable. So let's jump into the PowerShell editor, and there we will perform some exercises. So we are into PowerShell scripting editor. Let's start with exercise 1 for this. So let's grab it. So first exercise is exercise 1, compare two numbers. So it is pretty much straightforward. If we want to compare two numbers, then we will use this equality operator, for example t equal to, and run it. Then it will return the boolean value true or false. So here it has returned true because both numbers are equal. And if we want to check that whether two numbers, we will provide two different numbers, so it will return the boolean value false. So run it, so it has returned false. Now suppose that if I want to check two string, so how we can do that? For example, bfg is equal to bfg. So if you run it, then it will return true because both the strings are same. So this way we compare a string as well as number as well to check the equality. So bgg versus equal to bfg, run it, it will return false. Now one thing I wanted to tell you over here is that suppose that if you have an array and you want to check which are the numbers are equal. For example, if I have a number 4, 5, 6 and I want to check grab the value which is 4. So here I will pass it and I will compare it. It will return me the value 4. So if you run it, so it has returned me the value 4 because this value exists, this 4 exists within this array. So we can use this equality operator as well to check the value or grab the value from the array as well. Now moving to the exercise 2, and here we will do the same thing for not equal to. So we will keep the same exercise, and if we will paste it over here, but here we will use not equal to operator instead of equal to. So for not equal to we use any. Now it is reversed. If we will compare, this will return false instead of true. Earlier it has returned true because both are equal and we have used equal operator, but this time it is returning false, opposite of it, and this will return true. Execute it, so it will return. So just remember that for equal to we use -eq, and for not equal to we use -ne. So it is pretty much straightforward, nothing is complex over here. So now moving further, we have exercise 3, that is greater equal and greater than equal. So how we can use it, which operator we use? So let's look into that. Moving further, we have exercise 3 for greater than equal to. For greater than equal to we use, for greater equal we use g. So 2 is greater than equal to 2, so run it, it will return true because it is checking greater than as well as equality. So for example, if we want to check that greater than only, then we use if 3 is greater than gt is 2, then it will return true because 3 is greater than 2. Now the next example which I am going to tell you, that is really very interesting. Suppose that if we have an array called which is having a value 9, 10, 11, and here I wanted to grab all the value which is greater than 9. So how I can do that? So we will use -gt, that is greater than operator, and we will put over here 9. Now we will execute it. So it will extract all the values which is greater than 9 and it will display that. So run it. So it has given us 10 and 11. So this is the way by which you can extract the value from an array on the basis of some condition. So here we have used greater than comparison operator. Now moving further, exercise 4 is same like but with the less than and less equal to operator. So let's look into that. We will use the same example, just copy it so that we will save our time, but instead of G we will use LE, and here for GT we will use LT. So if we will execute this one, it will return true because it is less than equal to, because it is meeting the criteria of 2 equal to 2. For less than, we can check that it will return false. So it returned false. And again here, if we want to extract the value which is lesser than 9, so what it will return? It will return only 8. So execute it. So it has returned 8. So this is the way you can use this comparison operator for checking less than and less than equal to. This is for less than equal to and this is for less than. So just remember it. So moving forward, now we have another exercise for matching operators. So let's look into that. First we will take the example of like operator. So let's do this example now. So like operator will be used with the wildcard. How we can check that? So suppose that if we have a string called PowerShell and we wanted to check that whether the shell is available in this word or not, so we can use like. So here we will use wildcard characteristic and then we will pass shell and we will run it and we will check that whether this shell word is available within this word or not. So it will return true over here. So it returned true. Why? Because it is available. The shell word is available over here. So this is the way you can use the like operator. Now we will use it also for extracting the values from the arrays. So how we can do that? Again I will create one array that is having a PowerShell, and there is something called some value we can put like computer, and we can put shell also, and we want to extract the value. So how we can do that? We can use it, extract the value, whichever the value is having shell, so it will extract those values. So here once you run this one, then it will return PowerShell and shell. So execute it. So it has returned these words. So it is also very helpful to extract the word which is having shell. So in our array we have PowerShell which is having shell and a shell word. So that's the reason it returned this one. Same like we have not like as well. So we will use the same example over here. So but instead of like we will use not like and not like. So if you will run it, then it will return false. And if you will run this one, it will return computer one, because we are using hyphen not like operator. So run it. So it has returned computer. So this is the way you can use not like operator. It is a negation of like, so you can use it. Now moving further, Let's look into other example. So the next example which we are going to do is the match or not match operator. So let's do this exercise now. Here I will take the same example, but I will use match operator and we will look into the differences between that. So copy the previous example and here now we will change it to match. So match operator matches a string using regular expression, and when the input is a scalar, it populates the $matches automatic variable. So let's look into that. So just run it, look into that, what the output it is returning. It throws an error. Oh, sorry, we need to remove this string. Now we will run it again. So it returned true, and it has also populated an automatic variable that is called match. If you run this, then it has returned this value. So it is storing it. That means it found it, the shell it found in this word. The match operator search only in strings. They cannot search in arrays of integer or other objects. Now suppose if the input is a collection, the match operator and not match operator return the matching member of that collection, but the operator does not populate the $matches variable. So let's look into that. So this is a collection we have, this is a list, or you can say this is an array, and if you will search it, then this $match variable will not be populated. So if you will execute this one, it has returned the shell, but if you will run $matches over here, then you will find that it is holding the previous value. So let me prove you this point. Because it is earlier value, that's the reason we are getting this value. So now what I will do, I will create another collection and we will call it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we will use match and we will search for sun over here, and now we will run it. So it returns Sunday. Now look for $matches. So see here, it is showing the earlier value. That means it is not storing, this matches is not storing the matched information from collection. But if you are comparing a single string, just remove this one or just copy this one, just copy it and remove this two. Now compare it. So it returned true. Now if you will run the matches, so it returns sun. So this is the value we have matched. So now you see here, this automatic variable is being populated. Same way you can use not match as well. Now moving further, now we will look into containment operator, that is contains operator of PowerShell. So let's look into the exercise. Now in this example, what we will do, we will check that the string within collection. And the syntax to use this operator is reference value hyphen contains operator and the test value. So this is also pretty much straightforward. So let's create a list or say an array, and here now we will check that whether this value is it contains within this collection or not. So this is your reference values and this is your test value. So let's check it. So it should return true and false as per the condition. If it exists, then it will return true. If it doesn't exist, it will return false. Run it. So it is true because this value exists here. Same way you can use it not contains. So here you can use not contain and it will return false. So run it because it is a negation of contains. So this is pretty much straightforward. So on this note, we are going back to the topics detail and look into what are the topics which is remaining now. So here we have completed arithmetic operators, operator precedence, comparison operators. We have completed these number of operators, all these operators. Now logical operators and flow control, we will do it in part 2. So here I am stopping now so that this session will not go much lengthy. So on this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session of part 2 of this operator and flow control in PowerShell. Till then, bye bye. Take care.